No, no, not the food. It's, let me show you what it is. It's the program. Very short.
The arrival and registration of students development professional. Welcome attendance. She Mary Early met and waiting list 5 to 6. Then 6 to 8.
Good afternoon. Good morning. I see a hand already raised. I'm not sure if it's on purpose or, okay, the hand is gone. Anyway, I just want to welcome everyone to today's webinar series. So we've been running a number of webinar series in the past. Initially, we had some on finance, and for the past 1 week or thereabout, we've been on leadership webinar series, and this is the third part of it. Now, today's webinar is titled Non-Negotiable Skills in the Backpack of a Future Leader. And to give us this presentation is our very own Temitope Oshuntuyi. So before we start, Odion, could you please move to the next slide? Yeah, okay. So this is a picture of myself. You know, my name is Obiano Jibokwe, and I am the membership chairperson for SPE Lagos section. And today I'll be facilitating this, this series. Now, to go through the agenda for the day. So we're going to start off with a safety moment by myself, and followed shortly by a welcome address by our section chairperson. And after that, I'll be right back to introduce our speaker and then yield the floor to the speaker, okay? Now, after the presentation, there'll be opportunity for every single one of us to ask questions in the Q&A section of this webinar. And even before we get to the Q&A, in case you have questions along the way, please feel free to put them in the chat box, okay? And then we'll pick them up during the Q&A section, okay? And right after the Q&A section, we'll go through the vote of thanks and then some announcements of our future events. So this is what we are going to do today. Now, to start off with the safety moment, Odiong, safety moment. Now, for safety moment, okay, the first one is please be aware of your surroundings. Now, if you are listening into this webinar, probably maybe you're driving or walking on the road or even in the house, I would implore you to please be aware of your surroundings. If you're driving, it might be best if you park, you know, and stay focused, okay? Now, the other thing is to avoid eating while you're talking, right? I mean, this is something we've always been taught, even right from when we were small. Do not talk with food in your mouth because you can get choked. So please be aware of this. And if you're eating, please be mindful of how much words are coming out of your mouth while you're eating. Now, the next one is never make or receive calls inside the kitchen, okay? If you have your phones in the kitchen, please be aware, especially if you're near, I don't know, fire or something, just be aware basically of your surroundings, right? Now, do not think because an accident hasn't happened to you that it can't happen. Of course, even the people that it happened to, they also thought it would never happen to them, but alas, it happened to them. So please be aware and be cautious, be very careful. Carelessness is quite costly. It might cost some money, it might cost time. And in some unfortunate situations, it might cost someone's life. So please, let's be very careful and mindful of, things around us. And of course, to COVID-19 awareness, even though we are sort of back to a form of normalness, right? But we are not completely out of COVID-19 and its challenges. So again, as a reminder, I'll remind everyone to please wash their hands, or if you have hand sanitizer, make use of them. I will also ask you to wear your nose mask if you're around other people, maintain your distance from them, okay? And I'm trying to see what is here. Avoid touching your face because you might have touched something, right? So please avoid touching your face. And if you have to sneeze, please sneeze into a tissue or in the elbow of your hand. Do not sneeze on people. Okay, so these are a few safety tips that I'm bringing to you before we jump right into the webinar. Now, the next slide is our opening remarks. Now, this opening remarks is meant to be given by a section chairperson, but unfortunately, she is not here with us today. And I don't know, Otome, are you there? Otome. Odion, do you see Otome on the line? No.
No, I don't see him yet. So you may just carry on.
Okay. All right. So unfortunately, Fayama is not available. She had to travel to Warri this afternoon. So I'm just going to say welcome to everybody and thank you for always joining our events, and I'm hoping that today, some of us that are, I'm sure everybody maybe, that are looking forward to becoming leaders in their offices, in your career, even in your sphere of your influence, maybe in your church or in your community, amongst your friends, whatever, I hope that you get the best out of this event, okay? Please feel free to ask any of those burning questions. Temitope is a seasoned, life coach, leadership coach, and he's here to answer any of those questions, in whatever area at all. Please feel free to speak your mind, okay? Of course, in the Q&A section and in the chat box, and he's going to attend to majority of the questions. So thanks everyone for always joining us. And towards the end of the event, we'll also showcase some of our upcoming events. And I hope you all keep attending and keep getting the best from your SPE membership. So thanks everyone, okay? Now moving on to introducing our speaker for today. So his name is Temitope Oshuntiyi. Temitope is a senior reservoir engineer with Mobile Producing Nigeria Unlimited. He is an ardent SPE member with numerous awards and accolades, both local and international. He is the founder of Mathematics for Life Foundation and co-vener of annual mathematics conference and exhibition. He is a certified coach, trainer, and speaker with over 12 years experience, helping professionals develop their leadership and communication skills. He is also a certified behavioral analyst consultant. He helps people recognize their strengths, their limitations, and connect with their other personalities. He is a personal growth enthusiast. He believes that no one can achieve greater things without growing themselves first. So our speaker is loaded. Temitope is very well known when it comes to leadership talks. And for me personally, I'm excited to listen to him. I've been privileged to, join some of his classes, and I can tell you that I have gained a lot from listening to him. So Temitope, you're welcome. You have the floor now.
Thanks, Uju. Good to be with the SPE family. For me, SPE is always family. Yeah. Almost 20 years now, from student days to, Lagos section, Nigerian Council around the world. It's been really an honor serving SPE, and I'm sure it's a journey, and it's a lifelong one. So I'm always here and eager to help. Let me know when you can see my screen. I'm sharing.
I can see your screen.
Okay, just let me be sure I'm sharing the proper one. Okay, hold on. Okay, yeah, this. Okay, yes. So I have about 45 minutes to do justice to this topic today of non-negotiable skills in the backpack of a future leader. Trust me, whether today or tomorrow, we will always be leader in our own capacity. And there is also always that transitional moment where you have to lead in different spheres of life, or even leading ourselves as individuals. So today, I'm sure we are going to learn a few things about being future leader and the necessary nuggets that we need to help us in life to be a future leader in choosing career or endeavor as we move on. So having said that, let's take some polls just to familiarize ourselves with what we have today and also introduce ourselves to our next. If you can go to www.menti.com and enter that code, then you should be able to see the poll. Just a quick one. Go to menti.com on your computer or your phone. Okay, let me start the presentation. Okay. Okay. Okay, so just a quick one. Where are we from? Are you from outside Nigeria, Lagos, Abuja section, Benin, Port Harcourt, or Warri? Let's see what we have our audience from. Okay, we can see that we have people from Abuja, from outside Nigeria. Okay, funny enough, we don't have anybody from Lagos yet. Wow. So we have more people from outside Nigeria as it is. Don't you have people from Lagos? Okay.
Lagos, please. At least I see Princess. Come on, guys.
Oh, okay. Now Lagos
Yeah.
section is leading. So yeah, it's good. Oh, we have people from Warri. That's fine. So as you can see, Lagos section is trying. A lot of you guys are from outside Nigeria. That's quite interesting. And we also have people from Lagos, Abuja, and Warri. Okay, next question. Okay, so for the next set of questions, what is your level in your organization? Are you still a student or at entry level, a team member, contributory level, team lead, mid-level manager, CEO, MD? At least that will give me an idea of the kind of people I'm talking to today so that we can give relevant examples and I can be more relevant. So entry level, we have team leads, we have mid-level managers, we have student, team lead. Okay, we already have lots of leaders at team lead level on the call today. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, and the last poll. In terms of, okay, we have managers. That's nice, 15 responses. That's great. Okay, so next poll, which is the last one. This is a question and you can just type it in. What do you consider to be the most essential skill a future leader should have, in your own opinion? You can put up to 2 options. What do you consider to be the most essential skill a future leader should have? Okay. Can have more of that. You have 8 responses. You can put more than 1. You have 2 options. So you have empathy, communication, emotional intelligence, focus, being organized, integrity, good communication, stewardship. Trust me, the list is absolutely endless. Yeah, keep it coming, keep it coming. Wow, yeah, that's nice. I can see trained, stewardship, leadership as part of, yeah, the skill of a leader. That's nice. Being organized. What else do I say? Technical, good communication skills. Okay, that's good. Thanks. Okay, that'll be the end of our polls. So you are all right in terms of the skills that a leader should have, and trust me, I completely agree with you. For me, I have a list of those qualities, and they are endless, from productivity to continuous improvement, effective communication, good character, vision, self-discipline, personal growth, influence, creating positive change, charisma, commitment, competence, discernment, generosity, initiative, listening ear. You can just go on and on with this with these skills. But for me, like I always tell everybody, it's good to have a lot of things, but sometimes we can't cover everything within the short period of time we have on these calls. And again, leadership, just like any other field and endeavor, is not just a one-stop shop where you come in and you have a 30 minutes session with Temitope or anybody and you think, yes, you're already a leader. It's a continuous process that needs continuous learning, continuous improvement. So of course, you will hear one or two things today, but for you to be able to be a future leader that knows what he or she is doing, make sure that leadership and learning is a lifelong process for you. Having said that, let's introduce today's topic. I've specially designed today's topic to cover gaps and identify and develop leadership skills, especially for young professionals and individuals with the mindset of growing their leadership ability. So as you listen along, I would like you to use this acronym ACTS, meaning wherever you see, as you are jotting and taking notes, wherever you notice one thing that you know that you want to apply to your life, you can put an A in front of it so that the next time you see it, you know that you want to apply these things, or when you review your notes later on. You can put a C to things that you want to change, principles that you've been applying wrongly, so you need to change. Or for T, you can do something that you need to teach another person, a knowledge that you need to transfer or teach to someone else. Probably someone crossed your mind that, oh, I need to teach this to my brother, my aunt, my colleague at work, or even your parents or any other person. So ACT is something I used to take notes and jot whenever I'm in training. So just a way of helping me to apply the learnings better. Having said that, why should I be a leader? Everybody wants to be a leader, but for me, Temitope Oshuntuyi, why should I be a leader? The reason why I'm a leader, the reason why I want to be a leader, the reason why I want to continue to be a leader is, number one, to positively influence people, to positively influence. My mentor, John C. Maxwell, will always say leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And that's a great one. That's a great way of defining leadership. Though influence, as we all know today, with the advent of social media like Instagram and the likes, influence is not just about leadership, though leadership is influence. We have social media influencers and Instagram influencers now that they are also leaders, but guess what? They are not in the right, most of them are not in the right way. They are probably influencing you to do some other things that probably might not help future one way or the other. I don't want to go into that, but we all know what I'm talking about. Another reason why I want to be a leader is also to achieve more. You see, for every human being that really wants to be a leader, that has a growth mindset, that is growing, there comes a time in your life where you will use up your energy and time, where you will feel frustrated, where you will feel that you will have a lot of things to do and achieve, but there is no time or energy to do it anymore. Your 24 hours becomes like 6 hours. And you finish every day totally spent and worn out because you are working 24/7. At that point in time, if you don't transform to become a leader, if you don't develop yourself to become a leader by achieving more through people, then you become more frustrated. And before you know it, you can forgo or give up on a lot of dreams that you might have. Lastly, why do I want to be a leader? It's for posterity's sake, to leave a legacy for my children, for the unborn generation, for people around me in my country, and even outside the world. And I'm happy that to an extent, yes, we are doing that daily more and more, and we can never get it done. But as long as we live, of course, we'll see what we can do, and we'll continue to try to see how we can influence people positively, achieve more through people, and also leave a legacy. Because yes, most of the things that we see here and read about today are from people that have passed on decades or centuries ago, and their legacy still stands with us. So why not leave your own legacy that can start the test of time too? Okay, I'm sure you have questions, but just let's make sure that we take note of those questions and we take them at the end of the classes. So now, in the poll, I see that we mentioned at least 15 to 20 qualities, skills that are non-negotiable for future leaders to have. And I also noted some of them that I think future leaders should have. But for me today, I'll be sharing top 3 non-negotiable skills that I believe future leaders, people that are trying to lead themselves, that are trying to get into leadership skills, whether in the church or their religious setting or at work or even their community or at home, anywhere could be within SPE, but things that will position you to become future leaders. I've used this in the past. I've gone through this process, and I'm still even going through it because there are some other areas of life I want to lead also. And these are the things that help me. I can only teach you from my experience or from what I've gone through. And for me, my top 3 non-negotiable skills are: number 1 on my list has always been productivity. I'm sure for some of you, it'll be like, productivity. Why productivity of all the leadership skills that we've mentioned today? I also have problem-solving skills, similar to productivity, but totally different at the same time. I do tell people that the reason why we have synonyms is just because they might look the same, but they are not the same thing. If they are the same thing, then there won't be another word for it. Okay. So, and also positive attitude is a big difference maker. So we'll go through the next 25 minutes or thereabout, looking at productivity, problem solving, and positive attitude as skills that we can have to enhance our future leadership abilities. Okay. Having said that, let's start with productivity. And as you will agree with me, that making things happen separates real leaders from wannabe leaders. A lot of people can talk from now to tomorrow about they want to lead, they want to do this, they want to achieve that. But how many people actually make things happen? Okay. Management consultants and leader, Peter Drucker, says there are 2 types of people in the business community: those who produce results and those who give you reasons why they didn't produce the results. And I'm sure we've seen a lot of people whine about the traffic in Lagos, the reason why they are not making it under the current government regime, the reason why life is so hard. Guess what? Life will always be hard. Life will always be difficult. We are the ones that will make sure that we grow ourselves so that we can get positioned to live a better life and live for a better tomorrow. Why productivity? Why is productivity so important in making sure that we become future leaders? Number 1 is this: being productive gives us credibility. I'm sure some of you on the call, you might have met my PA, David. I've known David for quite some time now. He has been my PA for like 8-10 years, and I really miss him so much because he actually relocated to Canada late last year. One of the things that you will notice with David, the first time you see him, you will see that he is always doing something. And not that he's only doing something, you can see the result of what he's doing. You see, there is a difference between faffing around and people seeing credible and visual results. One of the ways you know youngsters, young engineers, young YPs, students that are trying to make things work is that at first, you just see that they have energy and they are going up and down. They don't sit down in one place. You might not see the productivity at that point in time, but as you develop, as you expose yourself to better mentor or leadership or associations like SPE, you now start making sure that that energy you have is converted to work products. And when people start seeing that you have productivity, everybody will want to work with you one way or the other, because you now become credible. You want to get this done, they will just mention your name. You want to get this done, call David. And I'm sure a lot of you on this call might have called me up at any point in time. I just like talk to the guy. He's busy. I know. You want to get anything done, you still don't give it to the people that are less busy. You still give it to the people that are busy. Isn't it true? Sincerely speaking, the last time I slept was almost 48 hours ago. But guess what? I'm busy. I still have to get this done. You could have given it to someone else that is less busy, but that's not how it works. So productivity gives you credibility, and it gives people the opportunity to want to do more with you, thereby giving you the opportunity to let you get noticed. Another thing which I've also spoke about briefly is it sets the standard for others visually. People can see your work product. And when people start seeing your work product, then they become attracted to you. They want to learn from you. Automatically, one way or the other, you become their leader. And I'm not talking about leaders that are appointed by position. A lot of people become leader due to position. But the great leaders, the real leaders, are more or less what I would call self-made. It's not because the virtue of your position, but the virtue of your productivity. When people see how productive you are, they don't have a choice other than to want to work with you and come closer to you. I remember my days in secondary school. We're always going from one competition or the other, trying to make some experiments work in the lab or produce some small machines or whatever with our physics and basic sciences experiments that we know. Before you know it, people can see this work product, and every time someone comes up, they will be like, oh, have you seen what was done in SS2A or SS3A? Can you guys do better? Can you replicate it? Even after leaving senior secondary school, you will hear just from your junior ones that, oh, we are trying to do better than you guys. We've seen ABC that you've achieved, or the awards that you've done, that you've collected in the past. So people can see this when you start becoming productive. And before you know it, you will become standard for that particular line, for that particular walk of life. Another thing is this: productivity solves a multitude of problems. You want to solve problems sometimes, all you need to do is to be productive. I do tell people, I don't know how to do a lot of things. Sometimes I consider myself lazy. As hardworking as it might seem that I am, I really consider myself lazy. You know why? Since growing up to now, I can't remember how many times I do house chores or manual job. Like, since forever, I don't wash plates, I don't sweep the floor, I don't wash car, I like almost nothing. Not that I can't do them, but it's not just my thing. So what do I do instead? I try to be productive in other areas I know how to, which is working through people, mentoring people, the education and the education aspect and all that. So from primary, secondary school, I've always made sure that I told that part. And before you know it, people can see other work products that you continuously churn out in other process. My eldest brother, I remember when I was in higher institution, I do come home almost every time from University of Ibadan down to Lagos. Then he will always ask me every time I come home, oh, what's next in line? What are you doing? Because even back then, as early as first, second year in school, I'm already doing a lot with SPE. We go for competitions, we do paper contests, go to Abuja for nights and all that. So they can see that work product. And before you know, every other problems or issues that we might be having with people or deficiencies that you might have gets not covered up per se, but just gets solved one way or the other, because people can see that you are productive in other areas of your life. Have you seen a religious leader that is quite good? You will just automatically assume that this is the best guy for every job. You go to that guy for almost everything. Have you seen a very good footballer, advertise energy drink. Why? Because you believe that this guy is so good as a footballer, is good in anything. Have you seen artists, actors advertise food when they have no idea what the content of or the nutritional value of that food item is? Why? Because people see them as being productive in one area, then they probably could solve any other problem in any other area. We all see how Bill Gates is solving medical and biomedical issues all around the world. Why? Because it's productive in a particular area. So when you are productive in a particular area, it helps you to solve multitude of problems with people in other areas, and it makes you get noticed as eventual leaders in future. Another thing is creating momentum. Just keep being productive as a team, as an individual, you will get momentum. And what does momentum does? Momentum helps you to improve continuously, not just as an individual, but also as a team. Lagos section is a good example. I've known Lagos section for, again, almost 20 years. And I can see year on year how we have built on the leadership culture of Lagos section. Why? Because the momentum is there. There has never been a single month of no activity. There's always something cooking. People are always doing something. Same thing with Nigerian Council. Same thing with SPE International. So before you know it, you can see the continuous momentum giving birth to another level of success. Because once you are in that momentum, once you are productive and you are being productive continuously, it creates such a momentum that you can never ever do lesser than what you did last month or last year or 2, 4, 5 years ago. As you know, with SPE at any level, there is no rest. Someone else comes, takes over, continuity, momentum, the productivity is always there. Lastly, on productivity, helps in building a team. I've said this over and over. You need a team to be successful. You cannot be a leader without followers. You are just taking a walk in the park. There is nobody following you. Then you are not a leader. But when people can see visible sign of productivity in you, work products, then it's easier for them to be part of your team. It's easier for them to be convinced to be part of your team. Because a lot of time when people join team, they don't join team because they just want to join team. They don't even join the team because of a vision or the vision of the team. They usually join the team because of the leadership of the team, because of the person that created that team. Aside engineering and SPE, I've done a lot of things. I'm doing a lot of things. And whenever I tell people that, oh, I'm up to ABC, can you join? They'll be like, Doctor, I don't want to know what you're up to. As long as it's you, I'm on your team. Why? Everyone, I repeat, everyone follows the leaders first before they follow the vision. Why? Because over time, you have been productive. It has given you credibility. They can see it virtually. They know that you can solve multiple of problems through your productivity. They've seen the momentum that you have built and achievement over the years. And sincerely, that makes you an automatic leader because everybody wants to be on your team. So enough about productivity. Let's take some moment and look at problem solving. Like I said earlier, problem solving is quite similar to being productive. In fact, very similar, but there is a little bit of difference amongst them. Now, one thing I tell people about problem solving is this. You see, in life, no matter what field we are as a leader, we will always face problems. They are inevitable. And that's why it's different from productivity. We live, and the reason why facing problem solving is inevitable is this. Number one, we live in a world of growing complexity and diversity. Because of that, there will always be new problems and we will have to solve them. Secondly, is that we interact with people. You see, people ourselves, you, me, all of us, we are problems. To live with yourself, to live with people, day in, day out, you have to solve problems. And number three, we cannot control all the situations we face. If you like plan from now to tomorrow, by the time you start getting productive about it, by the time you start executing it, it will change. You want to go from here to Abuja, and you have planned everything from beginning to end. It's when you get to the airport that you remember that you forgot something at home, or even the airline will decide not to go or go late. That becomes a problem. Then you have to start solving it. So as a leader, one of the skills that you need to develop is problem-solving skill. But I'm not going to approach it from that angle. I'm going to approach it from a slightly different angle. I love the quote by Israel Aimo. It says, people who have deliberately decided to become problem solver, they lead better. It's as easy as that. So how does solving problems create better leaders? I'll give you three perspectives into that. Number one is that you need to anticipate problems. Very funny, right? You need to anticipate problems. When you hear people talk, or when you are trying to be productive, or when you are trying to organize anything, a good one will be this seminar. As a future leaders, as you are planning the seminar, ask yourself one way or the other, okay, what could go wrong? What if Tope decide not to show today? Okay, if that's the case, let me call Tope and confirm 1 hour to the presentation. Let Tope join 15 minutes to the presentation. Because it would be so bad on Audion, for instance, if at 5:30 you didn't see me and people ask you why is Tope, you are like, the last time we spoke was 1 week ago. He said he was going to be here. That doesn't make you a good leader, just because you did not anticipate there might be a problem. So as leaders, you really, really need to anticipate problems. It's what we live for. There will always be issues, no matter how perfect you plan. I remember exactly about 2 years ago. Yes, exactly about 2 years ago, when during the advent of COVID, this time 2020, it was already getting into Nigeria, and we are start having all this care up and down. I was at work till late, till about 11 p.m. that night, and my younger sister called me. What are you still doing at work? I said, I'm trying to prepare for all these COVID issues, so that I need to get some things done. I need to make sure that some things are in place, that I foresee a situation where we are going to lock down. Remember, lockdown then was like something that can never, ever happen. In fact, one of my colleagues argue with me every day that there is no way Nigerian can lock down. I said, it's fine. I have not seen a lockdown situation before, but I can bet you that it is going to happen. You know why? Just because number one thing is health is wealth. You have health issues that we don't know the solution. The best thing is for everybody to stay in quarantine. So I could anticipate the problem. If that night, I was telling my sister, she said she doesn't have much on her. I told her, go home, get food stuff that could last you for weeks. I told my wife the same thing. We were buying food. So people are like, why are you doing this? Why are you panic buying and all that? But that is part of you anticipating problems. Because guess what? Even if it doesn't happen at the end of the day, it's not a loss, it's a lesson. But the funniest thing most times is that those problems that you might anticipate, they will happen. If they don't happen in that scenario, they'll probably happen in another scenario. And the fact that you have anticipate anything that could go wrong, if something else totally goes wrong, you are more or less equipped and mentally prepared for that challenge. Secondly, is that you need to develop a problem-solving method. There are several problem-solving methods out there. The scope of this training today is not to give you a particular problem-solving method, but there are several of them you can use. One of the ones I'm conversant with is the TEACH approach. That's TEACH. T stands for time, E for exposure, A for assistance, C for creativity, and H for eat it. I'll just quickly go through that. T, by time, I mean you need to spend time to discover what the real issue is, because a lot of times people are either exaggerating the problem or understating the problem. So as a supposed to be leader, you need to spend time discovering what the real issue is. Remove sentiment, remove emotions. What exactly is the issue? Secondly is exposure, E. Find out what others have done. it's more or less as if you are trying to get an analog. What has happened around the world? What is going on around the world? What has people done in solving this issue? It's just like in SPE, if you want to write papers, what do? You do literature review, because people would have done something close to it. There is nothing new under the sun. You will start from somewhere. Another thing is assistance. You need to get assistance, get your team together, talk to people, have your team study all angles. What are the things that you know from other sources, from other people at that point in time? What are the necessary assistance you can get from people to tackle that problem? And C is get creativity, brainstorm multiple options, talk with other people, brainstorming session, say two good heads are better than one, share opinions, share ideas. And before you know it, you'll be able to access a higher level of ideas when you brainstorm with people. And lastly, which is something that a lot of people don't do, is what I call EAT, HIT, eat it, meaning implement the best solution. You need to implement. One of the reasons why we don't solve problems at times is that we spend a lot of time just working the problem, dancing around the circles, rather than actually going out there and do something about it. Okay, so enough of developing a problem solving method, but you need to have one. And lastly, surround yourself with problem solvers. Surround yourself with problem solvers. Okay, you need to surround yourself with problem solvers. What do I mean by surround yourself with problem solvers? I personally, for instance, I do tell people I cannot attend to all the emails, all the chats, all the calls, all the social media messages I get in a day. Why? Because someone somewhere that I might not have even heard for in weeks or months needs something from me, because they just believe that, oh, Tokwe will know who knows, or Tokwe will know someone that knows something about this problem or this issue. That's one of the things that makes you future leaders. A lot of people that have seen me or known me on this call before now, I'm sure you've called me for one reason or the other, just out of the blue. It happens every day, every time. Why? Because I have surrounded myself with problem solvers in different aspects of life. So people will come to you automatically. You are well positioned to become a leader in life once you surround yourself with problem solvers. And it's not easy for you to surround yourself with problem solvers if you yourself are not solving some form of problem or adding value to life. Lastly, let me take the next 5 minutes, because I don't want us to extend too much of our time, to talk about the last skill on our plate today in becoming better leaders in the future. Is positive attitude. It makes a whole lot of difference. It makes a whole lot of difference. So one thing about attitude is this. You see, attitude might not get the job done. It might not make the result or the outcome better. But guess what? A positive attitude will never, ever make it worse. I'll repeat that again. A positive attitude might not get the job done. It might not make things better, but it will never, ever make it worse. It will never, ever make it worse. And we always have a choice. It's one of the things that we have choice in life to do, maintaining and keeping a positive attitude every day, every time. It supersedes almost every other character or skill that you might have, because it's something that you can also learn. I remember sometimes last year, we did like our work. We've been working from home anyways. So sometimes we do some, when we have a meeting or an event online, we try to do as much we try to have as much fun as we can, like something to just kind of lighten the mood, feel connected and all that. Icebreakers in different form. So that day, one of the things that we did was the presenter will pull up three qualities or three things about someone, and you need to guess who that person is. And of late, since about 2 years now, I've been in a very tedious role that I'm always more or less working around the clock 24/7. And when it was my turn, of course, you won't know who they are talking about, but from what they are saying, you have to guess the person. And I was surprised. One of the things on my three list that was put up is, the person said, This particular person always smiles genuinely. In fact, when he's talking, you can hear him smile. And I'm like, who are they talking about? Even me, I was confused. I was not even sure who they were talking about. And everybody said, oh, it's Temitope. And I'm like, why? And later after the event, a couple of guys called me and said, yes, that even when you're under severe stress, they don't still know how you imagine to keep calm and smile. I'm like, well, it doesn't make the stress go away, but it doesn't increase it anyways. But guess what? It actually makes it go away, because in life, what you think a lot of time is a result of your attitude. And your attitude is a result of things that you see in your environment. I will come to that later on in this presentation. So a positive attitude is a person's passport to a better tomorrow. You want to have a better life? Start with having a positive attitude, because our attitude determines our approach to life. Totally our approach to life. A lot of us are migrating to Canada, to UK, to US these days. If you don't have a positive attitude about living in Nigeria, don't think all of a sudden when you get in diaspora, your attitude becomes positive. No. What goes around comes around. You need to have positive attitude and maintain it. Because one thing about bad attitude is it compounds faster than the good ones. The same way we know that the bad gist travels faster, the bad news travels faster than the good ones. So if you have a team, if you are leading a team, or you're an individual trying to be a leader, and your attitude is bad, people will see it miles away. Before you even get to them, maybe you have a group of 3, 4, 5 people talking. As that person with bad attitudes is approaching that group of 3, 4, 5 people, what happens? You see them dispersing one after the other. Before you get there, you see that, oh, sorry, we have to go and do some other things. Because your attitude is actually rotten and they can smell it from afar. So we need to be very watchful of bad attitudes as future leaders, because they compound faster than the good ones. And lastly, on positive attitude, you see, our attitude is what we hear, the news we listen to, what we see on social media, the Instagram, everything we read, everything in our environment, how we see ourselves. Do we see ourselves as inferior or superior, or do we think, how do we actually see ourselves? Who influences us? Who do we listen to? Is it by the mentorship? Is it from our parents? Is it from our religious leaders? Is it from our leaders at work? Because one of the things I usually tell people is this: when you have a leader in any spheres of life, whether at home or at work or anywhere, there are 2 things you're actually learning from that leader: what you will do when you become a leader, or what you will not do when you become a leader. And all this sums up our attitude, and eventually how we look. The way we dress is part of our attitude. So let's watch what is in our environment as a totality, because it will affect our attitude. And we must try as much as possible to always put on a positive attitude, because nobody wants to go near someone with bad attitudes. Because what happens with bad attitudes is that it's just like rotten eggs. From a mile away, people will move away before you get to them. So thank you all for listening today, and I can entertain questions. Hope you have spent some quality time listening to me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Temitope. Thank you. That was very apt and, very clear as in to the point. Thank you for shedding light on the top 3 skills, in your opinion, you feel are like the top 3 skills for any leader or anybody aspiring to be a leader. Now, just to, because I was taking notes, just to sort of go through some of the key points. So first of all, it started with leadership is all about influence, right? You want to achieve more, you want to leave a legacy for your generation or for people that know you, right? That's basically what makes up the definition for leadership. Then you also talked about, you shed light on ACT, which is a process where, we can, when we are learning something, we can, as we learn, we apply it in life. And then the C stands for you change. As you hear something and you feel that you need to change, you've been doing something wrong, then you need to change it. And then the last one is T, which is teach or transfer to someone else. So as you learn, be prepared to transfer the skill to somebody else as well. Then you also mentioned, which was the main point for your presentation, the 3 top non-negotiable skills, which is productivity, which simply means making things happen in summary, more or less. And then you talked about problem solving, which basically encompasses, anticipating problems, having a problem solving method that, one can apply to different issues, right? And then the third one was positive attitude, which of course you you talked about, making a difference. So if we have that, attitude that sort of attracts people to us, then it's easy to, maintain your influence on people. But if your attitude is bad, then of course, like you said, people will see from a mile away and they will run away, just like a bad fish that smells, right? So I just want to thank you for shedding light on this. And before we get into the Q&A, I just wanted to, again, bring everyone's attention to the chat window. If you have any question, kindly put it there. And if you also feel that you have a comment, also put it there. Or if you want to unmute yourself, you can raise your hand and unmute yourself to ask your questions. So as we start, I see that there's a hand up the hand has been up since, so let's give the person the floor, right? So there's Lucky Emiemi. Please, can you unmute and ask your question? Because I see it's like the hand is like, I'm here, Lucky?
Hello,
Lucky?
Lucky, are you there?
Okay. While we're waiting for Lucky, I see a couple of questions in the chat box, so we can also start with those ones. Now, the first one is from Rokib. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce your name well. Rokib Akambi. And he's asking, what can we do when faced with problem, but can't figure out solution to it? Lucky, please hang on. Please hang on. Okay. We'll be right back to you. Yeah.
Thanks, Uju, for that. And let's keep the question coming in so that because the amount of question I see will kind of give me the duration to answer the question. Yeah, because one thing about question session for me is that it gives you the opportunity to be able to explain better, to be able to touch the pain point of people, and also to even communicate further and expatiate on the discussion and even other areas that we didn't talk about. So the first question I have on here says, what can we do when faced with problem but can't figure out solution to it? Okay, that was a time, I can't remember, it was SPE or multiple session where I gave a talk about differences between problem and predicament. Sometimes what we have is not problem, it's predicament. And what we just have to do in that case, if it's a predicament, if you can identify as a predicament, is to find a way of living with it. Imagine someone that, let's say, born blind, for instance, and he or she is trying as much as possible to make sure that, they want to, how should I put it, make sure that they see by force. The problem is not, the solution to that blind person, it should not be trying to see, but trying to live with the blindness and making the best out of it. Because it's possible the person sees, I'm not saying it's not possible through several means or depending on the level of difficulty of the blindness. But haven't we seen a lot of blind people around us achieve their dreams, becoming millionaires or do whatever? I've seen blind people do a lot of other things. Is it craft? Is it, I'm sure we've seen a lot of videos like that online. Another one I tell people about is there is Nick Vujicic. Some of us might know him. He's a motivational speaker with no visible arms or leg. There is no way you can even, there is no place to even attach a pseudo leg or arm to. But that guy is married, has kids, is one of the highest paid motivational speaker around the world. If you hear him speak, you will know that the guy is a complete man in all the senses. Why? Because he knows and understands that what he has is not a problem, but a predicament. So back to your question, Rakib, if actually that problem is a problem, then try and look for some problem solving skills. I just highlighted one of them, which is the teach approach. Spend more time to discover it. Expose yourself to what has been happening with such kind of problem around you. Look for people. It's not so easy. Those that say to every problem there is a solution, yes, it might just take some time, but it will come. You don't need to ask for assistance. Be creative about it. And whatever that issue is, always make sure that you do something about it. There's one of my training about ideas and all that. And this is not me going spiritual or trying to go religious. This is what I tell people. And everybody believes in something, whether God or whatever you want to believe in. You see, there is one thing, the power of idea. Any problem you have, God, infinite wisdom, whatever you might want to call it, will place an idea, just one idea in your mind, in your subconscious mind to solve it. The problem with us as human beings is that we don't usually follow through those ideas, or the first thing that comes to our mind is, will it work? And the moment you don't follow through with that idea, a couple of days, a couple of months, the idea that looks like something like a bright bulb at first, after some time looks like trash to us. Why? Time has passed. A lot of things have happened. So make sure you follow through on your ideas when you have problems. That's part of the ways of solving problem. Okay, don't let me take too much time because we still have some other questions.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Thank you for that. I was going to ask a follow-on question to that. So if you're in a client-facing situation, like, I don't know, like you're providing services to a client and, you're faced with, this problem of you have no solution, or you have a solution, or for some reason, the solution is not really converging per se. What then do you do? Because I mean, it's not something you can live with, right? You're meant to deliver, and you're meant to deliver and meet expectations, if not exceed expectations. What then do you do? And maybe the ideas are not coming, or you've tried so many things, you just have to find a way to sort of earn the project per se, that sort of situation. I don't know if you get.
Yes, I get your point. And for me, one thing I've always done is and a lot of people don't do this also, but I try to do it, is facing reality. One of the qualities of a great leader is to define reality. Sometimes even our bosses, even we ourselves, we set unexpected and unexpected realities, like things that is like, going to the moon and coming back on a bike, Sometimes we need to face reality. We need to define that reality and expect that reality. If the reality of a situation, there are some clients, it's not every client you can get. We all know that. There are some clients that, if you like, talk from now to tomorrow, they don't want to do the business with you. They don't want to do the business with you. Probably they have some other reasons, or they have some other people that they want to do business with. Because in a business environment, perhaps I don't know all these stories and everything behind this particular situation. But in a business environment, when people come together, everybody wants to win. Everybody are there for a reason. And that reason is to make money and to be profitable, right? So people are coming there with the expectation of getting solutions to their problem, whether by way of getting money or getting products and services. So if the reality of that person is or has some material motive, because I've seen cases where clients are just wasting your time every day, day in, day out, but they know that you are not going to get the job. That's the reality. So sometimes it's just as easy as defining reality, whatever that reality is. So Uju, we can take that offline for me to know more about it. But sometimes I think it's just about reality. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. I think we just have quite well, we're honestly out of time, but let's just take Lucky. He was the first one to raise his hand. I don't know if he's ready to ask his question quickly,
Yes,
please.
I'm ready,
Quickly.
man. Please, can you hear me, man?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
So, ma'am, what about you're having a problem whereby you are two in number, you and your brother, and
Okay.
you are asked to do something? Definitely, you know that the thing is wrong, but because of the way situation is, like you are giving reason to do that. Yeah, like how will you go about it?
You already answered yourself. You know it's wrong. See,
But
one of the qualities. Okay, you want to say something?
but like you are giving reason to see, to like the thing you must, it's something that you must do, like not something that like the thing is somehow.
Okay, so let me I kind of understand you to an extent. And this is one of the things you need to do as a young engineer, as a young professional, even as an experienced engineer. Though as an experienced engineer, we already know these things. But for some of you that are just leaving school, starting career and all that, you must not lie to yourself. Be true to yourself. Define your character. Define your level of how should I put it now? The right word would be your principles, your attitude. Define it well before you have issues. Because when you don't define your boundary, when you don't define your values, thanks Chinyere for that cue. When you don't define your values before you have issues, then it becomes the issue. I have a saying, as complex as it may sound, but it's simple. What I cannot do for free, I cannot do it for the money. You can't tell me to go and kill someone. I will not kill the person because I can't kill for free. So like, there's no amount of money you want to offer me. I'm definitely not killing the person. And really, that's how these things work with people. The things that people do for money, they can actually do it for free. Because at the end of the day, it's just for you to do. But you are just looking for what? More incentive. So if there is no form of incentive that will move or change your value, then you know who you are. You know it's wrong. If you already defined your principle, if you already defined your value before you start going out there, you think school is difficult, wait till you start working and seeing proposals. Okay, so define your values. That's just the message there.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Temitope. I don't know, could maybe we can take one more from the chat box, right? So this one is from Galvin, and it says, what do you think about finger pointing leaders as a leadership skill? I don't know if you understand that one. And then he says, please share one experience, how you were able to attract great leaders around you.
So sometimes I'm not so good with English because I'm a Yoruba boy. I don't even understand English. What is finger pointing, please? Can anybody help me? If you can unmute yourself, Galvin.
Is Galvin there? Because I too I'm struggling as well. Galvin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of
Quickly,
leaders.
please.
Yes, sure. I'll just go direct to the point. A lot of leaders they find it as a leadership strategy to just point out who is wrong, and they always victimize their subordinate in the name of, like, that is my leadership strategy. You are the one that have done wrong. You are the one that have done this. So, and this is just, it keeps happening, pointing fingers every time. And I understand the fact that everyone cannot have same capacity and capabilities. So, and when you try to approach this person and tell them that you might really want to consider other strategies, say, that's my own leadership strategy. It works for me. It makes them sit up and all. But at the long run, I do find out that people are not too comfortable with that strategy. So today you're talking about leadership. I just want to have your own side of it. Yes.
Okay, thanks. So I'll try and do this in 3 minutes. Though a lot is going through my brain for the answer right now for the answer. You see, a lot of people that even call themselves leaders at work, they are not leaders, they are management. There's a totally different, as in wide day and night difference between leadership and management. And one of the person that I've seen said it well is one of our former council chair, Chikeze. I'm sure you all know him. He will say he is the CEO of what's the name of that company again?
Walter Smith.
Walter Smith, yeah. He will say he will always, he will always tell his leaders that if you really want to be a leader, go to places like SPE where you don't pay anybody's salary, where you don't determine the next person's meal, and try to lead them and influence them to do something. That is the true test of leadership. Where you want to willingly, voluntarily follow someone just because the person is a leader. It's different when the person is holding the ticket to your next meal, to your bills, to your accommodation, to your means of livelihood. That's entirely management. It's different from leadership. No leader in his right senses, sorry to say, will want to keep making sure that his subordinates and team members go head to head and clash every time. There is a difference between leadership and management. So a lot of people out there are managers, and they are very good. There are times you need to be managers. There is no doubt about that. Yeah, human beings can be very funny. I agree with that. But leadership and management in workplaces, I will tell you that 90% of the time is actually managerial principles that we are using and we are following, not leadership. They are totally different things. If you want to see leaders, go into settings, mostly NGO, where people are not paid, then you will see what's actually called management. If you try that in SPE, then who will work for you really? Why should I work for you when you are always telling me that I'm doing the wrong thing? The next time you won't see me, will you? So that's how it works. And you also mentioned in your chat that I should give examples of, let me scroll to that. Please share one experience, how you were able to attract great leaders around you. Few strategies. This is it. This thing is contagious. A lot of time you attract who you are. It's contagious. Become a good leader. Try these leadership principles that we've talked about today. Trust me, you will attract likes. On this call today, I've attracted the likes of Uju. I've known Uju for a very long time, like almost 10 years now. In fact, I still referred someone to a few days ago. Up to now, Uju and I have not spoken about that, but I'm sure the moment she heard that, oh, I am from Temitope or Shitui, she will do whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, Chinwe is one of those on this call. I've attracted her since the day she was in Covenant University, like 200 or 300 level. Imagine, that's probably 8 years ago now. B is one of them. Maybe another 10 years too with B. So Lawal Sherif, I can see him on the call. We still saw last week. He was at my place overnight doing some other things, So I have attracted leaders. Why? Rakib is another one. I met him last year. Nais. So you will attract who you are. So first and foremost, start behaving and putting up skills of future leaders, even if it's just these 3 that we spoke about today, then you will attract like minds. Thank you.
Thanks, Tope. Thank you very much. I think we can take this up to 7. So let's take 1 or 2 more questions. So Rakib again is anticipating problem. Won't it make us a negative-minded person? So one of the,
yeah. So there are 2 ways to this, and I gave you a good example. That is permit me that words are not coming to me easily, and let me tell you why that is. When you drive yourself off sleep for too long, your recall becomes bad. So that's what's happening to me right now. Okay, so this is what happens. Let me explain in word in sentence if the word is not coming to me. When you try as much as possible. Okay, let me go to that question again. Let me hold on chat. Where is it? Can you read it again for me?
So you said, one of the problem-solving skills, or how you defined it, was be able to anticipate problems. So it's asking, wouldn't that make us a negative-minded person?
Yeah.
I think it's almost like, when you're planning an event, you go through the event just to see what can go wrong, right?
Exactly. So it's different from people that we call, there's a word for it, like there are some people that are it's different from say naysayers, right? So what you are trying to do, just like we do in professional setting, in this case, is what we call risk analysis. And you want to mitigate it. What could go wrong? In fact, when you know what could go wrong, your program, your life is easier. It's different from saying, oh, we cannot do this because of ABC. There are two different things. What could go wrong if you are like in the oil and gas industry and you have to an extent done some work or some roles, that is what we call risk analysis. What you do in that session is you look at everything that could go wrong. Once you identify everything that could go wrong, you also provide likely solution to those things in case they happen. That is different from a normal scenario around us that you say, oh, I want to do ABC. I can't because I don't have the money, and you stop it there. That is the negative mindset. You don't have the money. Okay, can you borrow? Who can you borrow for? You don't have the money. Can you save? How can you save it? By the time you ask 5 whys, one of them will be an answer. So there's a difference between having that negative mindset and actually carrying out something similar to risk analysis and looking for a solution. There are two different things. Okay. Next question.
Absolutely, you're right. Okay. So I think one more. How do you manage, from Engineer Chukwuemeka, how do you manage a thorough leader and a mean manager in the same workspace?
How do you manage a thorough leader? See, sometimes your English are too much for me. I swear. I'm a simple English person. Can you unmute yourself, Engineer Chukwuemeka?
Yeah.
What do you mean by thorough leader? I have no idea.
Thank you so much, Tobe, for this fantastic outing. Yeah, so what I mean by thorough leader, there are people who over time have developed themselves or gifted, and they've proven within the work environment that they can influence others. Okay. And the results are coming in, people is becoming visible. Okay. And then, but you have to work within the same workspace, probably under a mean manager, a manager who feels threatened by those results or by that level of influence that you show. So how do you manage that? Because you're a leader, you can't stop doing what you're doing, but at the same time, you have to grow within that same organization.
Okay, thanks for that. So this is this perspective I'm going to give you. And a lot of time people don't understand this and they don't know this. Every one of us, we are, from the day we were born, we've been working in teams. Your first team happened to be your family. And guess what? A lot of time people become successful with their family. Then you go to school, you meet your classmates, right from KG or primary school. One way or the other, you go through it, you are successful with it. You go to secondary school, you go to an institution, you find yourself in IT positions, churches, everything. How many times have we had the luxury of choosing our teams or leaders? It seldom happens. But at the end of the day, aren't we successful most of the times with it, with those teams? Why? Because a lot of times the onus is on us as individuals to develop. I've spent 13 years in Exxon. I've had 8 immediate supervisors since then. Some of them are like world class. Like I wish I could have them the whole 13 years. Some of them I don't want to ever meet again as supervisors. But guess what? You need to work with every one of them. Because at the end of the day, it is you that need to learn that emotional intelligence. It is you that need to learn that person's work ethic. It is you that need to adjust, especially in workplace. And I made the example of leadership and management. You can't walk away because you don't have another job. One of the best things you can do for yourself is to study that person and study his or her style. I've worked with bosses within my 13 years that if he says, Tokwe, this is what we are doing, ABC, we are submitting next week, he will not check with me because he knows I will do it, he knows I will submit. And I've worked with another one. This is what we are doing, ABC. 1 hour later, how far? Okay, I'm still doing something else. Oh, we are getting late already. Submission deadline is 10 days from now. That same day, that person might ask 3 times on that same thing. Between that 10 days, the person has asked like countless number of times, and I'll be like, I am working on this thing and other things. But guess what? With time, before you even ask, I will just even call. I say, I'm on it too. That way he or she doesn't ask again. Because you need to now work towards that person. You can't change people easily, but you can adapt to their style. Because with time, if you really study them, you exactly know what they want. And you can do the little you can while that period of 1, 2, 3, or whatever years last with that person. Because nothing lasts forever, right? Okay, thanks.
Okay, so Ezeja Festus Kelechi has had his hand up for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, so can you unmute and ask your question?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah. Hello.
I can hear you very well.
My question goes this way: how can we eliminate bad attitude in a workplace?
Okay. How can we eliminate bad attitude in workplace? I've said this over and over. A lot of these things starts with you. A lot of things start with you. Because, okay, I work in a place where I'm an engineer, a high-level contributor, but I'm not the supervisor of the team. In fact, sometimes I find myself in a team where I'm not even the team lead, okay? Just an individual contributor. The best thing you can do is to make sure that you yourself, you don't join the bad attitude, no matter how bad the other person is. If it's your own organization, let's assume you are the owner of the organization, or you are the leader or number 1 person in that organization. Trust me, the only reason why that organization is bad is because you are bad. Then your attitude will reflect as the number 1 person, as the leader of that organization in the whole organization. In cases where you are one of the team members or what I call foot soldiers in that organization, what you need to do is to take care of you first. And you would try as much as possible from there to radiate it outward. There is no way I will come to you smiling, except you are really, something else is wrong with that person's head, and you will flare up easily. No. The moment I come to you, you know I'm always grumpy, and you two are coming to me grumpy already, then things can always escalate to start with. So you want a better attitude at workplace, try and give one out. You might not be able to control it. Remember, I said something about attitude. It might not change the situation, but it will make it get worse for sure. Good attitude will never make it get worse. Okay.
Okay, thanks a lot, Tokwe. Thank you. I think this is the much we can take now, so that we can run through the remainder of the slides. So I think, Odion, what is on the next slide, please? Yeah, okay. So again, Tokwe, we just want to say thank you for, an excellent session. Thank you again for sharing, really key nuggets for, the young ones, for us, that are climbing the leadership ladder and so on. We've seen some areas where we need to work on ourselves, some things we need to change, and stuff like that. So we really, really, really appreciate you for making out time to join us today. And we hope that when next we call you, you will answer us, right?
Always.
Hopefully. Yes, yes, we hope so. So thank you. I wish you all the very best. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So, Dion, can we please quickly run through upcoming activities, please, before we all go? I don't know, it's not showing properly for me. Is it showing well for others? Okay, in any case, so we've got a couple of activities coming up. Again, I'll enjoy, everyone to, look out for, we send emails, look out for the emails, look out for the flyers. They're all over LinkedIn, they're all over social media. Please follow us and then get involved. So on the 2nd of March, we are going to be having a solar hybrid technology and other environmental solutions as potential for sustainable energy in Africa. Okay, we ask that, you join us again for this event. And then on the March 4th, we're going to be having a session on diversity and inclusion. So we have lined up a couple of events and we'll ask everyone to please join us. And on March 10th, we have another webinar on subsurface considerations for carbon capture and storage on the March 10th, yeah. And then on March 12th, on a Saturday, we are going to be hosting a Lagos scholarship fair. Again, if you're interested in scholarship, please join us as well. And lastly, on the March 17th, we'll have a webinar on the energy transition. Where do I fit as an engineer? So these are a couple of activities we have planned for the month of March. And we are asking everyone to please join us, look out for the flyers, the dates, the times, etc., and then tune in. Okay, thank you. And the last slide, Ojon, is just, again, trying to create awareness on how to connect to SPE Lagos section. So we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and also on YouTube as SPE Lagos section 61, etc. So please join us, connect with us, and tune in as much as you can. Follow us as well. Also share some of our events as well to help us improve our visibility. So please join us. And then if you are looking at becoming a member of SPE, or as this is a new year and you intend to renew your membership, please reach out to Odion, who is the section admin, and that's his email with his contact. Or you can also reach out to myself. This is my email with my contact, or to Chinenyem Ohaji. Any one of us will attend to any questions you might have on membership renewal. And you can also get online as well. If you're interested in seeing what other benefits you can get from being a member of SPE, you can also visit the website, on spe.org/members/benefits to find out a bit more. So we are SPE, and we appreciate you all for making our time to join us this evening for this session. And I hope you all truly enjoyed it, and you're walking away with some nuggets from it. So thanks everyone, and do enjoy the rest of your evening.
Hello, Joe, could we take the group photograph?
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
so,
paparazzi.
So before we go, please, if you're still online, kindly turn on your videos so we can get a screenshot. Yeah. Come on, everyone, please turn on your videos.
Don't be shy. Okay, so we
just have a few people. Dodion, let's give a few more minutes, please. Any other person joining us in this picture?
On your videos here.
So what's that? What to put our makeup? A few more minutes.
Please don't do makeup, no need. No need, just we'll manage you the way you are.
Are you seeing the way audio is glowing?
Yeah. Okay.
Do I have a choice?
Well, I don't know if others are going to still turn on their videos, but Audio, maybe you might want to take it, or should we still wait for 1 minute?
No, I think we should just we should do it when we
Take
have.
it. Okay.
Okay.
All
All right. So smile. Let's put on the leadership smile. All right. Thank you. Okay, I'm clicking right away. Thank you. Okay, that's all from here. Would you over to you? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for turning on your videos. So please stay tuned for our upcoming events and do have a wonderful evening. Thanks, everyone. Take care now.
Thank you. You are looking so relaxed. What is the secret?
The secret is Temitope is the one talking today. That's the difference.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
SCS is ongoing.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, we'll be there in a couple of days by God's grace.
Okay. Safe trip.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, I will end the call in 10 seconds.
Okay,
Don't
thank
mind.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.